Week 15 of the fantasy football season, and we'll playoff start in fantasy leagues. Here's a few quarterbacks you might need in deeper leagues, or if you just stream quarterbacks to get this far in your season. A few quarterbacks I will tear off the wire this week. The first quarterback, Aaron Rodgers of the New York Jets. Aaron Rodgers, I know, hasn't been a good season for this New York Jet team. They've been one of the worst teams in the league once again this year, and they're 3-10 on the season is this New York Jet team. So Aaron Rodgers, the last few weeks, though, he's gone out there and he's put up serviceable performances, 18 or more fantasy points 3 weeks in a row. Week 11 versus the Colts, 184 pass yards, 2 touchdowns. Week 13 versus the Seattle Seahawks, 185 pass yards, 2 touchdowns and interception. And Week 14 at the Dolphins, 339 passing and a touchdown. So Week 15, a great matchup at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Give up the most fantasy points to quarterbacks on the season. And I think Aaron Rodgers, he could go out there this week and have a good ball game because this Jacksonville Jaguar defense can't stop anymore. He was locked in with Devontae Adams and Garrett Wilson in last week's game in a high-scoring ball game at the Miami Dolphins. He could go out there and have a good ball game. Next quarterback, Drake May of the New England Patriots. May out there in tons of fantasy league. Decent matchup coming up at the Arizona Cardinals in Week 15. So May, he went on bye week in Week 14 and now to refresh and pick up the playbook a little bit more. Week 11 versus the Rams, 282 passing, 2 touchdowns, an INT, 27 rush yards, a fumble loss. Week 12 at the Dolphins, 222 passing, a touchdown, an interception, 26 rush yards, a 2-point conversion. And Week 13 versus the Colts, 238 passing, a touchdown, interception, 59 rush yards, and a 2-point conversion. So a good matchup coming up in Week 15. We just saw the Seahawks go up and down the field on this Arizona Cardinal team. But most likely this is going to be a game they're trailing early and often, and he has to play garbage time as Drake May, but we've seen he's been decent running the football, and even not much in the passing game, he still goes out there and he's getting anywhere from 18 to 22 points per game over the last few weeks. So he's definitely a quarterback I would add this week. The next quarterback, Cooper Rush of the Dallas Cowboys. Obviously the Cowboys haven't played yet. Monday night ball game here tonight versus Cincinnati Bengals, but Cooper Rush, he's been serviceable over the last couple weeks, and the Cowboys actually won the last 2 ball games. Week 11 versus Houston, 354 passing, a touchdown, interception. Week 12 at the Commanders, 247 passing, 2 touchdowns in that one. And Week 13 versus the New York Giants, 195 pass yards and a touchdown. So like I said, Cincinnati here tonight, they give up the 3rd most fantasy points, but obviously for Week 15, a great matchup at the Carolina Panthers, where their defense can't stop anyone and gives up the 6th most fantasy points to quarterbacks on the season. So right now, I definitely will go out there if you're in a pinch and need a quarterback and add Cooper Rush this week. And the final quarterback I looked at off the wire is Bryce Young of the Carolina Panthers, staying in the same game. So this Cowboy defense hasn't been good a majority of the season. I know Micah Parsons, he's returned lately for Dallas, but Bryce Young's going out there, and last week he almost pulled off a big upset victory at the Philadelphia Eagles. Week 12 versus Kansas City, 263 passing, a touchdown, 20 rush yards. Week 13 versus Tampa Bay, 298 passing, touchdown, 17 rush yards, a touchdown. And Week 14 at the Eagles, like I mentioned, almost winning that ball game. If Leggett catches that one at the 2-yard line or it rolls into the end zone, they most likely win that ball game with under a minute left in that one in Philadelphia. So 191 in that one, a touchdown, interception, 29 rush yards. This ball game, Week 15, a good matchup versus the Cowboys. 5th most fantasy points to quarterbacks on the season. And Bryce Young, ever since he came back into the starting lineup, I think those weeks watching Andy Dalton from the sidelines, he definitely learned something. He has more poise in the pocket and confidence throwing the football. Available in 94% of fantasy leagues. That's a few quarterbacks I looked at off the wire for Week 15 of the fantasy football season.